Hello and happy Outer Worlds today, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to this week's new episode of Primetime Gaming with Mr. BoomStick and Friends. And ladies and gentlemen, we have a lot to get into. Satya Nadella making some major headlines, moving some stock prices, ladies and gentlemen, with his confirmation that next gen or Xbox next gen is going to be very close to or even mirroring what they do on PC. I have a lot of thoughts and theories into why, as any Xbox fan, after hearing what he had to say, should be confident that the Xbox division is not being sold off like some of the trolls said, and is not certainly going anywhere because they are making. I know Hargeet, you're laughing, but I mean this is what the headlines are. Some journos actually posted this at one point or another. But we are going to open up with, and again, you've already heard me and Umbra and Fuzzy and Jamie Moran gush over Halo. I was going to say Combat Evolved, but it's Campaign Evolved. I keep messing that up. But look, I have two people here that I have not heard from. One of which is as big a campaign guy as I am in Kay Asante. What's going on, brother? Welcome back, dude. And you know what? We're getting new Halo. And when I say new, we're getting 3 prequel missions that may run parallel with Reach. Holy shit, are you kidding me? It's time to get excited. Halo's back. How you feeling, brother? Welcome back.
Indeed. I'm excited to be here. Yes, I'm excited that Halo is back in some form, or at least the campaign anyway. It's back in the form. I'm excited to get into it. But yeah, it's good to be here. It's a long week. But Wednesday is upon us, so I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, and there's still 2 days. That poor Mrs. Boom relapsed. She's sick again, unfortunately. She stayed home today. She's been under the weather. But she still has figured out a way to make 58 bags for every driver and every deliverer for the Meals on Wheels program, because she believes that no matter how old you are, you deserve a happy Halloween. So, of course, she's going in tomorrow, even though she's a little under the weather, to make sure she hands out all her treats. And that's why I love that woman, because no one is better than her. But, Hargeet, what's going on, brother? We got a lot of news. Look, some numbers broke today. Some good, some bad. We're not going to too much really get into it.
Oh, yeah, the financials came out, right? Is that right?
Yeah, they did. Consoles down 29%. They were up on services by 1%. They said they were down on their first-party games because I don't think there were any during that block, but they are up on Game Pass subscription. So it's
wow.
Again, so it's look.
You mean the increase in price didn't kill everything?
No, actually, it didn't, surprisingly enough. But how the heck are you, man? How you feeling?
I'm good. I've been playing Outer Worlds,
and it is. Now I can freely talk about it. I gotta tell you, and this is gonna sound like I'm towing the line, folks, and I'm not. Look, I am incredibly grateful that I had that game 2 weeks early. I really did. And it was, again, I was reviewing that. I was reviewing Ninja Gaiden 4, and I'm currently playing through, and I'm going to review on my own because I did buy it on my own. That is Keeper, which is, there's not one bad screenshot you can take in that game. It's just stunning. It's a stunning game with no voice and no story other than the story in your mind, and I think it's brilliant. Again, it's Tim Schafer and Double Fine doing what they do best, and that is just tell a story with gorgeous graphics and memorable characters. But going right back to what Hargeet was saying about the Outer Worlds 2, man, what an 80-hour romp. I have to say, I did. Well, I'm not going to spoil. I can't spoil it. Obviously, people are just playing it now. Look, let me just say this: play that game, please. At least give it a shot. The best compliment that I can do as a gamer, not a podcaster, not someone that's trusted by Microsoft and Xbox to review these things. No, just as a regular gamer, as one of you fine folks in the chat. If you enjoyed the first one, this is 10 times better in every way. Movement, graphics, the character interaction, your choices really are they matter, like in a really big way. The gunplay is phenomenal. The weapon crafting that you can do with these guns are just dope. But if you are a fan of the first one, and this is where it gets good, folks, if you, like me, absolutely adore Fallout New Vegas, it's like they had a baby. They literally took everything that they did amazing in Fallout New Vegas, took all the amazing parts of the Outer Worlds 1, and this is what they have crafted, and it is brilliant. It just really is. But, gentlemen, let's get right into Halo. Look, I know that there has been a significant amount of controversy, and we're not really going to harp on that because this is not what we do here. We try to remain positive. But I have to, of course, talk about some of the negativity that came out of the Halo championships. Now, one of the big, I mean, I guess it makes sense, but not really. One of the complaints I saw was that, hey, the Halo championships is a multiplayer event. Everyone who knows Halo looks to this one event every year, and they expected, and I was with them, that there was going to be 2 projects shown. One of which was rumored for weeks would be the Halo Combat Evolved remake and something multiplayer. Well, something multiplayer didn't show up. And I'm okay with that because I don't think the multiplayer is going to be done in Unreal Engine 5. Now, I don't have that on good authority. No one has said that. I'm literally speculating because I don't know if they're going to use Slipspace or they're going to use a different engine. I think that when that is shown, it is going to be shown in whatever new engine they're using. When they are going to show it, folks, I literally have no idea. But then I want to turn your attention to the sprint controversy, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, people are in their fields. They're doing 17-page threads. They're having spaces. They're doing podcasts because sprint does not belong in Halo. I'm not even going to address the stupidity of that. He's a super soldier that's 7 feet tall that could lift incredible Hulk-size vehicles and throw them at people if he wanted to. He could run. I'm just saying he could run. But what they did, because they knew people were going to be in their feelings, they have the ability to shut it off. You literally click it and it doesn't exist. But you know something, ladies and gentlemen? That wasn't enough because of the fact that someone like me who will run the entire game, they are angry. Look, I said this yesterday with Umbra and Jamie. I think Halo fans are as bad, potentially in some aspects worse than Star Wars fans. You can't please these people. I'm sorry, folks. You just can't. You just cannot. But that's where the negativity ends. I had to just throw it out there, kind of just start the podcast. Que Asante, my brother from another. You are Mr. Halo campaign. You have literally destroyed the Halo Master Chief Collection on every level possible. You and I were just having a talk in the green room where we both at the same time were like, yeah, I'm going to start it over. I'm literally going to play 1 through 3 again. I have to because I am so excited. I'm so hyped. And I unfortunately have to wait, like you, an entire fucking year until I can get a chance to play this. Let's get your thoughts on what was shown. 13 minutes. There it is.
I'm just saying, yes. So yeah, I'm very excited for this. This was awesome. I have been one that has always been on that page of stop feeding the beast, right? And what's the beast am I talking about? The beast that is Unreal Engine. We'll leave that for another day because Umbra's not here to slander, so we'll move on. But in general, I do see why they did this because you can see it on the screen, right?
Yeah.
You heard this announced not too long ago, a year and a half, maybe 2 years ago, and already you're looking at some of the fruits of their labor, right? It's a porting job, but it's more than a porting job. It's that wonderful marriage of old physics and new UI, UX, and graphics. Yeah. So you have all the same feels that you remember, but just like the Tony Hawk and a few others that have done it, it stitches old gameplay with Unreal Engine 5 goodness. I was such a fan. Like it's awesome. I know some people saw it and they thought, oh, I can see the pop in and I can see this, that, and the third. It's not a retail product. I expect it to be gone during the retail space of it. This is also Unreal Engine 5, so everything you're seeing there is Lumen and Nanite. It has been shown that game was running on console Like, so all the footage you saw was console footage. It wasn't a 4090, it wasn't a 5090 footage. It has been proven to be actually Series X footage you saw, right? Which
Yes,
I think that's super refreshing. Yeah, that is super refreshing. They could have easily thrown a 5090 at you. It would have been crisp and clean and beautiful, just like The Witcher 4. And you would have been like, oh my God. And it's not really like console footage. This was hardcore, raw console footage. And it said so right at the bottom, and you could see it. And what I saw was great. You know, I thought it was awesome. They obviously have added some things. They've made some modifications, you know. So I will let me say this. I am one that has been one and will continue to be one that will defend Halo Studios /343 to the end of the earth. Okay. I believe that they're a company that was saddled with an impossible task, and they were able to succeed at that task, although not completely, but somewhat, almost 80% succeed at that task over and over and over again. But because that last 20% was never finalized, it was always the noose around their neck. And I still contend that every Halo they released had some great parts to it. I will still defend Halo 4 to this day. Go install Halo 4 today on your Series X. You'll think it was made this gen. They are that good. They just are, right? I think this will be excellent. I love the idea that they're separating the multiplayer from the single player. It's a bold move, brave, I would say, because in the Halo of today, the Halo we know, it is all about the multiplayer, right? Like everybody's about that multiplayer. Those of us who like the single player are few and far between us compared to the multiplayer, right? So for me, the fact that they're doing this tells me that they have a very, very like big confidence. They are confident in their capabilities, and that's awesome. Right? That's really, really cool. Like they are confident that although you know this IP to be something that is tied to a multiplayer, here we go. We're going to show you a single player. We're going to show it to you on a new platform. And even those new platform holders who don't know the game but know that it's got a multiplayer, you're going to have to deal with the fact that it's a single player, and you will like it. I love that.
Me too.
That's great. Yeah. You know. So yeah, all in all, I'm here for it, man. Join the GCP Discord. We're starting to do Halo runs now. I think we're doing the Halo Reach we're doing Halo Reach multiplayer tonight. After this show, we're gonna go do that a little bit. It is Halo season, man. I'm super excited. I have no notes for this. I won't talk about the sprint because y'all people are mouth breathers. If you still have a problem with that, come on now. come on now. Especially when they let you turn it off. Now you're just trying to find something to bitch about.
That's literally fighting for no reason, right?
Right? This is not even one of those, oh, don't use it things. You can literally go into settings and turn it off. What you bitching about? Anyway, so besides that, I don't see anything wrong here. If I see any problem with this at all, it's that it will be super, 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 super successful, and the beast will continue to be fed. And there it goes again, more Unreal Engine that will one day become unattainable. This will be super successful. I know it. You can see it. Come on, yeah. This will be super successful, and then it will continue to feed the damn beast. This is why I didn't want him to go to Unreal in the first place. But yes, I am very excited. I can't wait to play it. I'm looking forward to it. Yes.
You know, I mean, look. Next year is going to be a mammoth-sized year for Xbox for so many great reasons, right? Like, I know that they have stepped on a bunch of rakes and they've had a bunch of highs and lows, and there's been some false reporting done in the last couple of weeks, and it's been a lot of highs and lows for the Xbox community. What has not been absent from the Xbox community is games. We are drowning in first-party games on top of Game Pass, on top of whatever it is that you buy yourself, right? Whatever games you buy for whatever console you enjoy. If you are an Xbox player, even though we are all, we gave the smoke for the increase of Game Pass, the price increase is wrong. I'm not going to stop beating that drum. But the truth of the matter is that we're drowning in games. And I thought that games are what matter. Right. And it does. So you take a game like this, it comes out, and we get 13 minutes of just glorious Master Chief doing what he does best, and that's kicking ass and taking Covenant names. Right. And it looked incredible. It ran incredible. It looked incredible. This is obviously a very early build. The final build is going to be perfect, ladies and gentlemen. And then we look towards next year where we're going to get this game. I would imagine it's going to be around the November 15th date, which is, of course, the official 25th anniversary of the platform, of Chief, of Cortana, of Halo Combat Evolved. Hargeet, I see the footage running behind you. I want to get your thoughts on this because, again, we talk about games all the time. I don't know, what your connection is to Halo, how excited you are. I know that, because it doesn't have multiplayer, a lot of people are in their fields. I think a lot of people complained just to complain, because that's just how the internet is. But what we saw on display was just mind-blowing, fantastic. Let's get your thoughts, dude.
Okay, so the good and the bad. So the good, it looks really good. As far as like the visuals, it looks really good. And like from a game perspective, I'm like, I remember that. Right? Like it's literally a scene to scene to scene. It's the same thing as we had before. So like, yeah, the nostalgia is there, right? They redid the lines. That was pretty cool, right? They actually brought the cast back in, redid the lines. That's awesome. So overall, like the visuals, great. The cons, it's UE, and you could already see the stuttering. And yes, I understand. Maybe they'll make it better, but look, dude, like the slip space, I think is the engine, 120 frames ray traced. You're not getting that, and this is one of the things I've always been concerned about. Was like, I like my 120 frames on Halo Infinite. It's really good. Now, granted, look, I have a PC. I can probably grunt it to whatever level I want, right? But on my Series X, I get 120 ray trace. I'm like, dude, you're not meeting that with Unreal. You're just not. And like that.
Had they gone id Tech, maybe.
I'm so annoyed they didn't.
You're not wrong. I've heard a lot of people say, how come they didn't go id Tech? Because id Tech, obviously, we've seen it.
Well, boom. Take it a step further. They have this little game called Call of Duty. They could have used the Call of Duty engine, which is id Tech, yes, but it's like so modified. And
evolved id Tech, yeah.
And you have how many people? Like freaking 10,000 people that know how to use it. Like, why not? Anyway, but fine. The decision's made. Right? So looks great. Performance to be seen. We will see. Now, as far as my excitement for the game, the problem I have isn't the game. Halo is legendary. It's awesome. The problem is I don't have time. I saw like Gears came out, and I'm like, I'd like to try it. I haven't turned it on. Oblivion came out. I haven't turned it on. And I'm like, thank God they put 3 missions in here that I have not played. I'm like, yes, that is the reason I will absolutely turn this on, because I want to play those missions. Otherwise, I would have skipped it. Unfortunately, I'm like, dude, like my backlog is insanity. I need to play those games first. I want to play this, but I still have that game I haven't finished, and I still haven't. I'm just gonna play those. And unfortunately, that's what happens. It's so hard to go. But this is why I totally discard all the remasters and remakes, because it's just hard to go back to those games when it's like, do you know how many times I've played this game? How many times I've finished this campaign with friends? It's like, why was all that so recognizable? It's because I've done that mission like 40 times. And yes, it was freaking awesome back when we played that, like 2001, 2002. But that's my problem with it. Is like, yes, I've played that. I've done that, right? But thank God they put in those 3 missions. That's what's going to bring me. I hope they're meaty. I want that. Like, I don't want it to be like an hour for 3 missions, right? I want it to be like 5-6 hours. That'd be awesome, right? Let's get something, useful. But yeah, that's what I'll turn this on, is to play those 3 missions. Well, obviously I'll get to see the graphics and all that. That's cool. But that's kind of where my excitement for this is. It's like, it's great that you're doing this, but I don't know if it would, if this didn't have those 3 missions, I would have skipped it. Because I just don't.
That's fair. Time. I mean, again, I've played Halo 1, 2, and 3, and I've beaten them on Legendary, and I've run the gambit, but that is still not for me anyway, just
Now-
being such a big Halo fan, I'm still excited.
Now, as far as the complaints, dude, do you really think the game was going to come out now and not have some modernization to it? Oblivion did that, right? And it's like, yeah, that's going to happen. Like, you can't release a game now, 25 years later,
Yep.
and not expect a little bit of modernization. That was going to happen, right? It's just the way it is. And if sprint is the one thing that makes you not want to, like, good, just go away. Just go away. Like, well, come on. At this point, you're just finding excuses. The multiplayer thing, however, is interesting. It would have been nice to tease something, right? To just tease, hey, this is coming.
Yeah.
Maybe they're just not ready to show something.
That's what
fine.
I think. I agree with you there.
But it would have been, it is, like Halo Championships, it would have been nice, a good place to actually say, and here's a teaser of what's to come in a couple of years, right? Fine. Even if it's a couple of years out, it's fine. Just a teaser of things to come. That would at least leave something with the players to say, oh, that's where we're going. Cool. Something to keep you, like, engaged, right? Okay, they didn't. I mean, we all know there's stuff coming, right? But, like, it would have been nice to see something. But oh well, that's kind of an opportunity lost. But as far as them doing the multiplayer here, I still think it would be nice to have a multiplayer. I don't know what their plan is for that. But, like, okay, technically you have multiplayer because you have co-op, right? That's technically multiplayer.
Right.
But I mean,
yeah,
like,
you're talking about like
PvP.
PvP kind of stuff.
Yeah. So like that, it would be nice to have that. But fair enough. We'll see what they want to do with that. But at least get the campaign out there. As to whether it will do well, I don't know. I think for Game Pass it'll do well. I think on Xbox side it will do what it should. But on the PlayStation side, there's an assumption that somehow there's a lot of players over there that gave so much of a crap about Halo that didn't just go buy the console to play it. So I don't know. I don't know that really is a large market. Like Gears did not sell well over there.
No, it didn't.
And so if you
Forza
look
did
at,
though.
like,
Forza sold very well there.
But here's the thing, and so it's an interesting one that Forza sold there. Their biggest franchise is Gran Turismo. That's their biggest franchise. And okay, so you see racing to racing. Fair enough. If you see the attachment of what type of players play on PlayStation, they like story-driven games. Now, this is the story.
Sure.
This is the story. It's not the competitiveness of it, right? So, but the competitive games do better on Xbox. And this is just industry analysis. It's not me saying that. It's just if you look at the industry, that's what they say. EA came out and
Per capita,
said
there are
that
more
it's
Helldivers 2 players. Per capita, there are more Helldivers 2 players on Xbox than on PlayStation.
And EA said we have a better attach rate on Xbox than we do on PlayStation, right? And it's like, okay, like I'll just take their word for it. If you look at the Battlefield 6 numbers, you look at the lines for like PC is up here, and you see the other two consoles are like this, right? And Xbox is a little bit lower, and you're like, dude, aren't there like 3 times as many PlayStations? Why is the line just a minor tick off? It's because Xbox players play those kind of games more than, so it's just, it is what it is, right? So do I expect a massive amount of sales over there? I wouldn't hold your breath. There's just a difference in the type of mentality of gamer. However, this is the story. It is not the multiplayer. It's the story. Does that change the dynamic? I don't know.
Yeah, we're gonna time is gonna tell.
We will see. We will see, right? So don't expect a massive amount. I don't. If it sells, it sells. Great. I think it will do numbers on Xbox because of nostalgia. We love this game. It obviously brought a lot of people into the Xbox ecosystem, including me. Like, this is the game. But I don't know if it has resonance over there, right? If it did, they'd buy the Xbox and play it. That's just the way it is, right? So I don't know that it's going to do anything over there. But as far as the multiplayer, I wish they had teased something. As far as the little quirky things, oh my God, there's this running. Oh, come on. So are you going to complain about the fact that you can have 4 people on the Warthog now? Like, I think that's fantastic. That should have been there for a long time. Like,
Yes.
you have 4-player co-op. You should have had 4 players be able to freaking sit on the stupid warthog. But anyway, I think that's a good thing. Some modernization was going to happen. Let's let them showcase the game when it comes out. We'll see even more of what they've done with it. So I'm not worried about those things. There'll be like 0.1% of people who are pissed off, and they'll get over it. That's just the way it is. So, yeah, whatever.
Look, it's Halo. Next year is the 25th anniversary of the IP. It's the 25th anniversary of the platform. It's the 20th anniversary of Gears. You're getting a new Gears. You're getting a remade Combat Evolved, and you're getting a new Forza. It is literally going to be a party from January 1st until December 31st if you're an Xbox fan. Again, we know a bunch of games that are coming out. We know at least 5 or 6. There could be others, right? It's going to be front loaded with content. We had Jez Corden, I think it was about 2 weeks ago, kind of hint that there's going to be a direct in January. He did, minorly suggest that Fable was going to be one of those games. It's probably going to be a Fable direct. I don't know if we're going to get Forza Horizon 6 there as well, or something else, or maybe a few other things. But it's what they've been doing the last couple of years. So the year is going to end with Call of Duty in November. I don't know if there's going to be any surprises in December. There always there's, you never know, right? There could be something, but we're going to end the year with Call of Duty Black Ops 7. And of course, seeing Halo Combat Evolved redone in Unreal Engine 5, even though Unreal Engine 5 does have its, issues. Not a lot of publishers have the Coalition or a team like the Coalition that could come in. And now, again, I actually checked through AI to see if there was any mention of the Coalition helping Halo Studios, and there has not been any. Does that mean that they're not helping them? I'm going to be honest with you. We talked about this a couple weeks ago, me and C Money, where Xbox is encouraging studios to help other studios. That's like a big play for them now. And the Coalition has a team that goes around and helps with the Unreal Engine 5. I would not be surprised in the least that by the time this game is released, the Coalition has helped out one way or another. Again, that's just my speculation, but I would imagine that's something that's happening. But look, 4-player co-op, 2-player couch co-op, split screen. Listen, folks, I get it if you're a purist about Halo and you shouldn't have sprint and you shouldn't have this and all that. Look, if it's not for you, it's not for you. I know it's for me. I'm so excited by this 13 minutes that I literally want to play the trilogy all over again from scratch. I'm going to try to play it on the hardest level. I'm going to try and team up with friends. I want to play this. I want to play Halo campaign again. And I'm going to probably run through the trilogy because why the hell not? On top of trying to figure out how to still get Ninja Gaiden, I still have to beat Keeper. It's a lot. And Vampire Survivors just dropped a massive update. They did a Balatro crossover with an expansion within an expansion. It's a lot of games, man. So look. Big thank you to everyone that's here. I want to thank, thank you for tuning in. Gentlemen, I want to get to the one super chat that we have here, and then we're going to get into this big Satya Nadella interview that he did. And it moved the needle for a lot of people. One of the things that I'm going to really drive the point home is that if you are someone that has been worried about whether or not the corporation or the corporate of corporation, meaning, Microsoft, is going to, sell off or get rid of Xbox, what Satya Nadella said kind of just breaks all of that up. And we're going to get into it further. But we have a super chat here from Alvin. So, Alvin, what's going on, brother? Great to see you here. And thank you very much for the very generous $5 super chat. Alvin goes on to say, in an interview with Mystic Ryan, they confirmed that the Coalition, Rare, and Epic themselves are helping with optimization. I have zero performance worries. That is phenomenal information. So there you go, Alvin. Thank you so much for that. I did not know that they were going to get help from all of those studios, the Coalition, Rare, and Epic themselves. Epic, I did see tweet about it, and they're working with them. So obviously, listen, when it releases, folks, it's going to be flawless. It's just going to be flawless. And why I say that, and why I have confidence in that thought and theory, is for the reason that multiplayer isn't there. It appears that the single player campaign, wherever they go moving forward, is going to be done by the team that is putting this together. It's going to be separate from the team that's doing multiplayer. And I actually think that's the way to go. I think that you should have two separate entities working on two separate things because they both do two separate things with the community. Multiplayer should be done by a team that works on multiplayer, and the single player story driven campaign should be done by a team that makes that their specialty. I hope that's the way that they go. But, gentlemen, let's get into this Satya Nadella interview that kind of shook the pillars of heaven. If you're a big fan of Big Trouble in Little China, you know what I'm talking about. I have a story here written by the great Jez Corden of Windows Central. And of course, I have already added this to the show notes. If you want to give it a read and give Jez a click on his article, you should do that. He goes on to say, gentlemen in chat, Microsoft CEO Satya Nadella is, quote, looking forward to the next Xbox. And he goes on to say, and again, this is another quote from Satya, we want to do innovative work on the system side on both console and PC. Now, Jez, I'm going to read it from the article verbatim, folks. Jez goes on to say, in a new interview, Microsoft CEO offered some rare comments on Xbox's gaming strategy, talking up the new console and mussing on the death of Xbox exclusives. So he goes on to say, Xbox isn't going anywhere for now, at least. Of course, that's Jez Corden. Microsoft's gaming division has had a difficult few months. Competition from other forms of entertainment, tariffs, and the Trump administration, mass layoffs, and a sprint of strategy changes have stressed the Xbox brand. Sony's PS5, though, smashed the Xbox in global sales, forcing Xbox to put its flagship franchises, Halo, onto its arch nemesis platform. And look, here's the thing, folks. There are a couple of really key points that I want to read literally from what Satya had to say. Now, it is a little bit of corporate speak, folks. He is the head of a corporation, so that, of course, is how he's going to move. This is not a surprise. But I'm just going to say this up front. I know that Xbox isn't going anywhere. And I think most people on the panel here, I'd say everybody on the panel here, but most people in the chat know that that is a reality. Regardless of what the trolls are trying to sell you or what journals are trying to get clicks on their articles that they're writing, Xbox as a platform isn't going anywhere. I mean, it's a division of Microsoft that's making as much money as Windows, ladies and gentlemen. They're not selling it off. They're not killing the brand. And if there's one thing, and I'm being honest here, folks, it's not me towing the line for the corporation. This is me just reading the room. If you listened and read what Satya said, and we're going to read some of that live on the air here tonight, folks, the Xbox brand is as important to Microsoft as Windows is. With that said, if you read anything that says Xbox is going away and that they're going to sell off the brand because they're not making as much money as they used to because people are playing on Game Pass and people are this, that, and the third, walk away with the fact that Satya is talking about the next generation console. That is now Matt Booty, Sarah Bond, Phil Spencer, and the freaking CEO of Microsoft talking about next generation. So if there were any doubts, the first three people I mentioned, you had any doubts that they were lying, well, Satya can't, because what he says publicly moves the stock, a publicly traded stock, ladies and gentlemen. So he's not going to lie. So I've seen some things, won't mention names here. Some journals have been ridiculous, but here is what he had to say that set off a lot of bells and whistles for people who are, of course, panic engaging. Satya says, You got to remember, Flight Simulator was the first product Microsoft ever built. Even before dev tools were first. Flight Simulator was second. Remember, the biggest gaming business is the Windows business. Steam has built a massive marketplace on top of it and has done a very successful job. The way we are thinking about gaming, first of all, we are the largest publisher after the acquisition of Activision. We want to be a fantastic publisher, but we want to take a similar approach to do what we did with Office. We want to make sure wherever there's a console, PC or mobile or even cloud gaming direct on the TV, we just want to make sure that games are being enjoyed by gamers everywhere. Simply put, folks, he wants to make sure, like Windows, that Xbox games are going to be anywhere that there's a screen. Now, Hargeet, I'm going to go to you first on this, brother. You obviously have a behind-the-scenes business mind that a lot of people don't have on YouTube, and you don't, panic engage, and you certainly don't make ridiculous comments. What we saw and what we read from this interview, though it was short and candid, I think for me as an Xbox fan, it proves that Xbox is here to stay. Now, these are just my personal thoughts before I hand the mic over to Hargeet. I honestly believe that when you hear Satya say that, yes, they want to be a great publisher. Well, in order to be a great publisher, you have to have great games, which they do. And they also have to continue to make these games to put on these other platforms, whether it be Windows, Nintendo, Switch 2, the PS5, or its own Xbox. In order to do that, you have to invest in your studios to make these games. So the idea that they're going to make 12-hour games across the board, because that's what the industry is saying they're doing, is wrong. That's not what they're going to do. They're going to continue to innovate. They're going to continue to invest. And I am going to add this is on the back end. And again, you can take it and run with the ball or not. When you hear him say that they are heavily investing in what they're doing with Xbox specifically now and in the future, this is going to potentially open up for additional acquisitions of studios and other publishers, because they're going to need that content to put on every device that is willing to take these games. And that is, again, PlayStation, Nintendo, Windows, and its own Xbox. Let's get your thoughts on what Nadella had to say, brother.
Well, first, Xbox did.
Yep, of course. Hey, Paris Lily, what's going on, brother? There he is.
But all kidding aside, look, no matter what they say, no matter what they do, it's always going to be the same narrative. The industry, for some reason, just can't stand that Xbox exists.
Yes.
And so they will just constantly be negative, whatever. I was in in our podcast with Fonz, and in the chat, I just kept seeing all the PlayStation type fans saying, Nadella had this interview. He didn't even mention Xbox. Xbox dead. I'm so I literally brought up Jez's article and said, right there, it says consoles and PC. Is he making Nintendo consoles? I'm guessing. It's just a guess here. You might be maybe he's talking about Xbox consoles. No. I guess he's making PlayStation consoles. The whole thing, just somehow they just have to read into it in some weird ass way. And I don't understand. It's clear as day. Console and PC. Console, but no, it's not clear. The messaging apparently isn't clear. I don't know how these things get twisted into pretzels, but they do. For some reason, it's always the same, and they just cannot wait to not have Xbox. I don't know what's going on. It's if you don't like Xbox, you know what? You don't have to buy it. Newsflash, you don't have to buy it. Nobody's putting a gun to your head to say you have to buy it. No, nobody's saying you have to. You can just skip it. It's okay. I don't own a PlayStation. Am I dead? No. Am I not able to play games? No. I'm totally fine. It's okay. Like PlayStation people, just skip it. If you don't like Xbox, fine, skip it. But from their perspective, they're trying to be in the market. As it is, and he's now making the statement that if it wasn't obvious, they're the biggest game publisher. They're here and they're not going anywhere. It's just not happening. You really think they're going to shut down the biggest game publishing arm that beats Windows? You think that's going to happen? Okay. Whatever. Seriously, at some point, you might want to stop smoking that stuff. Like, what is going on with these people? I come on. Oh, they didn't sell as many consoles. They sold consoles.
Yeah.
You can be the McDonald's. It's fine. They don't have to be McDonald's. It's okay. Enjoy your Big Mac. Whatever, guys. I don't know how this becomes such a problem. As far as your thoughts on acquisitions, I mean, the wording is kind of there, isn't it?
I mean, I'm not reading into it. I'm just what I wanted to do. I said it, and I knew that you were gonna respond to it. But if you just read what he says about putting these games on every screen, they want Xbox to be Windows, right? What does that mean? That means every computer this side of Texas, across the planet, has Windows. They want Xbox to be the same thing. Now, so a lot of people are upset about that because they're not in their little tight, console war conversations. But you see, that's the thing. In order to do that, Hargeet, they have to continue to invest in the brand. And how they do that is curate who they already have, fund who they already have, but who they don't, go buy.
And remember, the big thing that they're looking for is what? That massive, profit target, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you were to look at the industry to say, where should you go to increase that profit margin, there are a couple of places that make sense.
Yep.
And that's kind of where they should look. And I see some people saying WV. I don't know about that.
Paramount might have something to say about that.
That's a landmine you don't want to step on. Yeah,
I don't think they want to go there.
No.
Hasn't Paramount already put a ring on it at this point? It's
they're bidding. Yeah,
it's pretty close.
And we'll see if the Paramount thing happens, because that might make them too big. But who cares? That's not my problem here, right? So, if I were to look at what makes the most sense, if I'm from a profitability and kind of taking what they need to do next, it's Valve. It's Valve, and the reason is simple. You get the store that people use on PC. You're trying to merge the two environments together, and like, you want that full 100%, and everybody's putting their games on what?
Steam.
On Steam.
Yeah.
So it's privately held by Gabe. You offer him enough billies, and you say, that's mine now.
But just the one piece that I think is the real kicker here is how you just literally said what he said. They want to merge console and PC. They want to put together.
Yeah.
How do you do that?
And then you take Game Pass and say, oh, what's the store that we're putting Game Pass on? Oh, it's Steam.
Yeah.
Yikes. Yeah. Is that a powerhouse? Yep. So look, I like, if that was an option, and I think it is, and everybody might think, oh no, that would never happen. Enough billies come up in the numbers, and they're like, oh, that happens. At some point, anybody can be given enough cash to say, okay, I'll walk away.
I mean, they paid 70 plus billion for Activision.
Exactly. It won't cost that much for this.
It'd probably be around
anywhere
100
near
billion.
that.
Yeah.
So, and so if they they offer enough. To me, that's like the obvious one because it's literally a cash cow, right?
Yeah.
And some of the top games being played on PC right now are still Valve games. It's CS:GO 2 and Dota and games like that. That like, and I think neither of those has even come to console yet. But you have those two games just topping the charts on Steam like consistently. So like you get those games, and Valve has a vast, awesome catalog. When they put out a game, it's usually really good. They have another one coming out soon, right? That's apparently play tested really well. And I can't remember the name of it, but that's another one that's going to likely be a big hit. So that to me is the obvious get. So Deadlock. They have the game studios. Deadlock, that's
yes.
right.
Yep.
And you get that store. You get these like world-class games that people play like all over the place. That's a great one to get. Outside of that, there's potential for something like a Take-Two.
Yep.
And that's because, again, it has the annual franchises. Not just GTA. GTA is big. Yes, that's great. But you have your NBA 2K, that kind of thing. Like they have those. And that's an awesome thing for a subscription service.
Yeah.
Because now you have a reason to stay. You have your annual game that keeps coming in. So that would be a good one. EA just got bought, right? So we can take that off the table. I don't know that there's really another one that kind of fits that bill.
No, it's just those two. Those are the two one. I would,
because again, I'm looking at high profit. Right? What's going to drive that profit? You know who drove high profit? ABK, right? Because ABK was consistently in that 20 to 25% range, right? And that was the Bobby Kotick effect. That's what he was doing. And that's why you see those performance targets is because Bobby Kotick was, like, this is what we can do. And they're like, wait, if you can do that, why can't we do that? So this is how we get to these performance targets, right? So, but the other ones, like I can totally see Valve. I can see them. That I'm sure they make a ton of money. They don't like spend as much because they take their time to get the games they want out. They get the game the way they want it. Right. And then they put it out. Right. So they don't have like a very high amount of games coming out. But when they put out a game, it's great. It's the store. It just drives so much revenue for them. So I can totally see that being a target. Again, this is all theoretical. They may buy nothing. They may, in fact, go buy things that help in the back end, that help in the development process, that they can resell to other developers. Like, okay, Satya, you always bring up the Helldivers example. It's like Helldivers is a PlayStation game, but guess whose back end they're using?
Azure. Yeah.
Right. So they're using
guess
the
what?
Xbox
Guess what was down
kit.
when Azure went down this week?
Right.
Yeah.
So the Xbox development kit is what they use. The back end development kit is what they use for their back end. Right. And it's like, well, and they absolutely can keep selling that to whomever, and they just make money off of it. It's irrelevant to them. Like, go ahead, use it, and it just makes money for them. Those are the kind of things that are awesome, right? When you just get royalties because you just sell it back end, like this is great, right?
Free money.
So that's the kind of stuff, right? Yeah. So they want to keep doing that, right? You could look at a thing like Epic. That could be somewhat of a problem. It is the other store, right? The Epic store. But you would also own Unreal, which has kind of become one of the default engines. I don't know if that passes muster. I like regulators might get a little pissy about that. So I don't know. Even like Valve is kind of edging because of the amount of market share it has on PC as far as the game store. But at least that I think they'll be able to pull off.
Well, they could just,
but Epic
obviously
with
sell that
Unreal,
they're putting games everywhere. Halo is on PlayStation. I mean,
yeah. So as far as
go.
the games, I'm not worried because they have proven now they are not locking games. They are absolutely putting their games. They've taken this game and put it on PlayStation. So that like whole entire argument's done, right? They will put every game everywhere. That's not a problem. I'm more concerned about market domination, right? Because it's Microsoft. They didn't even bat an eye when PlayStation buys anything. They don't care, even though they have this massive console lead. That doesn't matter, right? But But when Xbox buys anything, what are you doing? So there will be scrutiny no matter what, right? So that's where you have to be kind of careful. So Epic could be, but I'm also not sure about that one. But if you had to pick between Epic Store or Steam, you know which one I'm picking.
It's got to be Steam. It's got to be Steam.
So,
it has to be. Yeah.
So anyway, so that's my thought on that one. As far as the console, the CEO has come out and said it.
Yeah.
The head of gaming has come out and said it. Sarah Bond has come out and said it. But apparently that's not enough. They're all lying.
Yeah, they're all lying.
Initial update. I don't know how much more they need to tell you that they're doing this. So whatever, right? Like AMD has come out and said it. It just doesn't seem to matter. There's just so much of this negative thing that somehow it has to be true that Xbox dead. I don't know. I don't know what it's going to take. I guess once the console comes out, they'll say, no, it doesn't exist. You can't buy it. No, I'm sorry. It doesn't. No, it's you're lying. You can't buy it. But it's right here though. No. Okay. Whatever.
We joke, right? We sit here and we laugh. We're having a conversation. We've look, folks, if there's one thing, let's say, for instance, you're finding this channel for the first time this evening and you're like, who is this BoomStick guy? It's a 55-year-old guy with a mohawk. Oh, that's me. But what I will tell you is that I do a ridiculous amount of reading, writing on a daily basis to make sure that when I'm here and I'm talking about what we're talking about, it's well rehearsed, written, and explained, not only for myself, but to every guest. And of course, we then translate that into a podcast. I'm all about that evidence-based conversation because, again, we are allowed to have our opinions, and most of them we will never always agree, and that's fine. But it's hard to argue the written fact, right? If we have documentation that says a certain thing, and it's something that someone said, like what I'm about to read for Kay Asante, and lead up into get his thoughts on this. Kay, I have an article here. This dates all the way back to 2023 during a podcast that Satya Nadella did. And here's his statement. This is 2 years ago, ladies and gentlemen, 2 years ago. He says, Microsoft, and this is again, Satya Nadella, and I quote, Microsoft will double down on gaming publishing and development. And this was a context that was made while he was talking about expanding Microsoft's gaming division. And there are two key points, Kay, that he mentioned during this podcast and interview, very similar to what he did just the other day. He said that Microsoft was going to quote increased focus. The quote signifies a commitment to significantly increasing investment and focus on Microsoft gaming operations, which include publishing and development efforts. But that wasn't the only piece there. What he said on the back end of this is strategic importance. And Satya Nadella points out that gaming as a key area for Microsoft's future, likely to be driven by a growing social media influence of games and a desire to expand their content and reach across what? Multiple platforms. Literally what he said during this interview in just different language. So this is not a surprise, ladies and gentlemen. Like I said in the opening here, Kay, I think it's plain as day or as clear as day, whichever pun you want to use. They want Xbox to be like Windows. They want it on every possible screen that will take it. And how they're going to do it is buy Bethesda, which they've done, buy Activision, which is closed, and potentially something else big, whether that be Epic, whether that be Valve, whether that be Take-Two, whoever they're going to go after next, like Hargeet said, is going to be something that is driven by the number, which of course, I know that doesn't mean anything to us. We just want to play good games, but we're talking about a head of a corporation who made some pretty big statements. And I think the biggest one wasn't the investment, wasn't that they want Xbox like Windows. He mentioned how that he himself is excited for the next generation console. What that does is put to bed all of these troll chasing MFs that continue to say there's not going to be a next generation console when the head of Microsoft Gaming has now confirmed it. Let's get your
So
thoughts, Matt.
When it comes to that specific thing, right? Like I call that shadow boxing. Why do I call that shadow boxing? Because you'll never win that argument. You'll never be able to go, see, look what happened. They did it now. You said they wouldn't, they did, argument over. You'll never win it because the goalpost will be on their back and they'll walk halfway down the block and they'll put it down somewhere else, right?
Yep,
and that's
you're
just what will
absolutely right.
happen, right? But let's be absolutely clear here, because I agree by and large with everything you guys have already said, right? But what I will add to it is those who say Xbox is dead aren't necessarily wrong in the way they think of it in the traditional sense. If you are a very traditionalist, if you are a you buy my box, you play my game kind of person, and that's the only way forward, yeah, your paradigm is completely shifted underneath your feet, right?
That's
like
fair.
Where you have been up until now is not where you're moving forward. There will be a different paradigm moving forward. Now, if you are not in agreement with said paradigm, and if you think it's bad or whatever, then to you, consoles are dead. Okay, good for you, right? For you, I would say if you have a question with whether it's a console or not, ask yourself if a PS3, a PS4, and an Xbox One was a console, because since 360 and PS3, all of them have been PCs. They all have had PC components. They've just hidden it from you. Just like Forever Physical has like you lost it back in those 360 gens when they started just giving you hex codes. You just didn't know it. You know what I mean? Like you lost it. They're just giving you frisbees that look good with nice logos on it. That's all they're giving you. They're not giving you games. But you don't know that, so it's fine, right? Same thing here, right? The idea of a console that you would know and that you remember when you were 10, when you were blowing on the freaking controller, a cartridge, that is gone now. It is, right? When you were wrapping towels around your heat sinks to make sure the thing doesn't all gone.
My God. We did it. We all did that.
People in the
That's
chat
crazy.
even know about the blowing on your console, like cartridge things. Because I remember all that crap.
Oh, sure.
The contacts wouldn't
the gray
work.
beards are here.
Yeah, and then you had to like make it actually work.
Yes.
Like this is old NES level crap from the 80s.
Exactly, right? But that doesn't mean that if you are a genuine individual whose requirement for gaming, right? If you're an individual who like, I want to play my games here, I want to play different versions of games, I want to have diversity in content, I want to have, all those requirements that are gamer requirements, I think will be not even met, but exceeded in just different ways that you, Graybeard, never thought possible. Right? You saw cloud gaming. You were like, oh, this is crap. Give them a couple months. Now, by the way, do you know that 1440p is a standard? I've played a bunch of games that's cloud game enabled. Yeah. 1440p 60 frames, and it's locked. So there's that, right? Satya saying what he's saying. The world we live in today is a problem because no one can say anything to anybody. Everything that anybody says becomes fodder for everybody. He wasn't talking to you. He wasn't talking to me, right? He doesn't know what a console is. He's a CEO. He's paid to know. He's paid to say the things they need to say. He's not an engineer, right? The way he considers a console is the way you all consider consoles. The thing underneath your TV that you press a button and it plays. That will continue to exist. As you say, Boom, he's already said it. Right now, if you are a big console guy and your requirements are very particular and it's got to be first party and it's got to be this and it's got to be that, yeah, get ready for disappointment because they're going to upend what you know as the console market. You heard Phil talk about it. We've all talked about it, right? The most recent Sarah Bond interview, she hinted at it, right? Like they're just not going to do the standard fare anymore, right? And if you are about the ecosystem, you may not like that. But if you're about the games, I don't see how that's going to be a problem for you. Because all it is just more games in more places. That's what it is. More games in more places. That's what it is, right? Because in order for them to be everywhere, they need to make money from everywhere. There was another conversation, Boom, that you and other panel members that I was watching had about, the 30%. right? Remember the whole, they have to make for 30%. Two things. One, they hit 22% before, whereas PlayStation's highest was about 8 or 9. So when they talk about 30, it's because they're in spitting distance. And second, and more important to this conversation, the reason when they were having that whole 30% conversation, it was also said that in order to achieve that, it would equal some inorganic growth.
And what does that mean?
Inorganic growth?
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Let's talk about inorganic growth. Organic growth would be, I have an idea. I put together a team. I work hard. I spend some time. I maybe come up with an engine or learn an engine. 10 years from now, I have a game. That's organic growth. Inorganic growth, I got money, you're mine. Goodbye. Purchased. That is inorganic growth. That is what it is. We have money. They have stuff. We buy their stuff. That's inorganic growth. So, by and large, we're going to see these guys take another bite at the apple. Well, not that apple, the proverbial gaming developers apple. You know, I unlike Hargeet, I don't foresee them going for the jugular and trying to take the big bite. You know, like a Take-Two or something. Like, could they do it? Sure, they could. But I don't think American governmental corruption will last forever. I don't think they'll get away with it forever.
Well,
somebody will go now.
Whatever they buy has to pass the world.
It has to
know.
pass the world.
So
yes,
it's
I know.
Not, like everybody seems to think it's just the FTC. Like the FTC.
No, but that's my point.
Administration. That's
fair.
My
point.
But it has to pass EU, has to pass UK. Japan, all those places.
Yes, but that's exactly the point I'm making. Before, when they did it, it was tough, but they could get it in because, and pause on that, because they had at least the backing of America. Now America's not doing so well globally. So whether America says yes or no,
they didn't have the backing of America.
Bearing. Well, back in the day,
only
look,
place
when
that had
the
a
whole
problem
EU
with it was America.
Yes. Well, but still, when like America had all the teeth, everyone else was supposedly like not as, except for the EU, right? Now, whether America says yay or nay will have no bearing on any of this whatsoever.
No, it's
actually,
outside.
I actually would think. Yeah, I actually would think the Americans saying yes would actually make it even harder because they all have a problem these days because of reasons, right? But that won't stop anything because at the end of the day, Hargeet made mention, and he's absolutely right? They have shown themselves that all the issues that were the noose around their necks before are not going to be the problems that they can use today and say, well, you said you would disenfranchise. There's no disenfranchising. Look at us. If it wasn't for us, Sony would have had the worst quarter last time. But they have been able to bypass that. Now, I do think, though, Hargeet, I don't know, man. Steam is kind of like Epic in that it is the store. Yes, there are many engines, but there is the engine, right? Even though there are other stores, this is the store. So especially the EU, they would have a problem with Steam going to Microsoft. A problem. Like they specifically. Could it still be done? I'm sure it could still be done. I'm sure there's movements and shaking that could happen. But that would be I think it would be like Call of Duty ABK levels of drama again.
Yeah, but I think they can pull it off, right? And they can. And look, this is where structures in the deals need to be made to say you can't decide to suddenly charge 70%.
Yep.
You know, so and this is where regulators come in, and that's their job. And you see how like the EU had stuff put in, and they're like, we're good with the deal if you do these like 10 things, go do it, right? And they went and did it. They made the deals. That's fine. That's what you got to do, right? And if they're gonna get locked in like this, sure. And thankfully, there are other stores, right? It's not very much just that. My problem with UE is
that's the fight they're going to make. Right? There's so many stores.
Everybody uses Unreal Engine, dude. Like
everybody, and now you're basically charging a tax to everybody, and it could be incremental changes, but it's like they could make deals and say, not that team, then I don't like them, so they're going to have to pay more, and that just makes it very tough, right? And it's the same thing with the store. That's fair, but they don't have to use that store. To change UE is a big deal. Right. Whereas to say I will only put it on Epic Store, totally fair. That's totally fine. You can do that. No problem, right? You have that option. Whereas in this case, you're basically telling them you have to learn a whole new engine and go do the. It's like, I don't know. So that one's a bit more challenging to me. I don't.
It's
so,
tough, yeah.
But either way, we will see what the regulators do if this even happens, right?
If it's a big if, it's a big if.
It's a lot of hypotheticals for sure.
And I'm not even saying that one is easier than the other. To me, from what I can tell, it's probably the same level of difficulty.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean it's
Epic
impossible,
has
though.
a huge thing because it does Fortnite.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude.
And the Steam store makes Valve an impossible purchase for anyone that knows the PC market. Like, they think that even though there's many stores, Epic has kind of clawed its way into the zeitgeist. But for a long time, nobody knew about any of the other stores. It was only Steam, right? And that makes it difficult for a Microsoft to buy them. That's tough. Doesn't mean
we'll see, right? I think both of those are going to be a tough one, but I think Valve's a little easier, but we'll see. Also, I don't know who owns Epic at this point. I think they're kind of across.
They're a little bit here, there, and everywhere.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Whereas
even PlayStation has a piece. Yeah.
The ex-Microsoft millionaire.
Straight up Gabe. You don't even have to know what deal they made. You don't have to know what the money was. They don't have to tell you ish.
It's why? Just Gabe. Because Gabe wanted
the
one dude.
He needed some money and some ice cream. They got him some ice cream. He was happy. He gave the building. He moved on.
You know what? People are asking in the chat, was there news about Microsoft buying someone else? No, folks. Please, we're not suggesting that there is
speculating.
This is speculating based on the conversation that Satya Nadella literally just had. What's interesting? He said an additional quote, and then we're gonna get close to getting everybody out of here because obviously I'm still under the weather, and it's just been one of those long weeks. During that TBPN interview that he did, he was directly asked, gentlemen in chat, the console wars are over now. What does this mean for Microsoft's gaming business model? And Satya, like a G, literally just said, we just want to make sure that the games are being enjoyed by gamers everywhere on consoles, PC, mobile, cloud, or your TV. I mean, look, again, this is why when you see people trolling for clicks and why they think that Xbox is dead. Look, I think really Kei Asante explained it perfectly. If you are an Xbox purist from the OG, buy the box, play the games on the box, and that's where you can play those games, then I guess you can say Xbox is dead because that Xbox doesn't exist anymore. It hasn't existed since they put the first 4 games on PlayStation. We know now that everything moving forward, including games like Halo Campaign Evolved, which again stung for a lot of people, is going to be on PlayStation. Is that a bad thing? Well, if you're an Xbox purist, of course it is. If you're upset about it, I was there at one point. Now I don't care because there's nothing I can do. I'm not going to leave the brand and go play on PlayStation. My PlayStation gets turned on 6 times a year, 3 times when I'm playing it, 3 times when I'm dusting. That's just what happens with the PlayStation 5. I'm sorry, I don't play it. I own one, and I will buy a game for it when there's a game I want to buy. But for the most part, I play on Xbox, and I really utilize Xbox Game Pass. And there's been a lot of really great games this year specifically. But look, I mean, there is not much more we can say. But I do want to, in closing, get the what the chat has to say and what the gentlemen on the panel have to say. I think that if you had any doubts that Xbox was going to go away, because I know I'm glad you brought it up about the whole 30% thing. The 30% thing was jarring. It was taken out of context, and it was like, okay, well, they're definitely going to sell off the brand because they're not making 30. Well, Kei Asante confirmed they made 22. And that 30% that Amy Hood, quote unquote, demanded wasn't going to be, not expected to be or come to fruition until 2030. You see, that little tidbit nugget was left out because that's uncool. It's the truth. So when you don't add that, it's like, oh my God, Phil Spencer is looking in the couch cushions for extra money because he's going to be out of a job.
And it's the whole division, not just like one studio. It's the
Yes.
whole division,
Yes.
including the
Right.
CODs and everything. It's everything, 30%.
And the back
not hard to
end
do.
and all that stuff, right? When
And
they're
the back
selling
end,
that
like, it's
Helldiver
everything.
stuff, they make that
Yeah.
money, right?
Yes,
So it all
it's
goes
the
to the same
selling
bucket.
of PlayFab and all of that. Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
I mean, look, again, I'm excited to be an Xbox player. I think that there's a lot to get excited about. And again, we all are angry and upset and disappointed about, you know, them raising Game Pass to $30. Shout out to Stallion83. If you didn't see, he had put out a tweet. I think it was Walmart that had the 3-month card on sale for $54. And I mean, that's obviously a lot less than what you're going to be paying at $30 a pop, which is going to be $89.99 November 1st when it transitions over. But there's still going to be places like Aniba. There's still places like CD Keys, which is called something else now, that you can go. I was just in Best Buy the other day.
Loaded?
And they had
Is that what they are?
What's that?
Is that the
Loaded,
name?
yeah.
Loaded. Yeah.
Loaded.
Mhm.
Yeah,
That's
CD
it.
Keys is now loaded. Yep.
Yeah, so you can go to any of these sites. I went to a couple of retail stores. I was in Target and Walmart with Mrs. Boom. We were shopping. I went over to the stand. They're still the 3 months cards are still $59. So if you really enjoy the value you get out of Game Pass, no one's kicking you to the curb. Go buy these cards. That's the best I can tell you. Go look for a deal, because and initially when it first came out in 2017, I was paying full price. I think after 2018, I never paid full price ever. That's because I'm a good consumer. I go where the deals are, and that's what you should do also. But let me just catch up on the last. We had a couple super chats here, and then we will. Oh, my brother is here, Neo Mental, who's been a channel member for 64 months. He says this: no way are they going to let Microsoft get another storefront, especially after they raised the price on Game Pass. I think we all need to sober up here. I mean, he's not wrong, but he might.
They will,
be.
though.
They
will, though.
Never
They
say
will.
Hey, they will say that's it. There you go.
Never
Let's
say
see.
never.
Oscar Wheat in the chat. Oscar, thank you so much for being here, brother, and thank you very much for the very generous $2 super chat. Oscar says, "I believe they're about to get Steam." I mean, we'll see. Again, it's just a hypothetical. You know, we're not world breaking news or anything here, but again, just based on the wording from Satya, Kay really said it perfectly, that it just kind of sounds like he's talking about inorganic growth. And organic growth is what they're doing right now with their IPs and their studios, and they're putting their games from Xbox Game Studios everywhere. That's organic growth. Inorganic is, well, like he said, oh, I see that. That's shiny. I want it. I have a lot of money. I have really a lot of money. I'll take that. In fact, I'll take two. So, you know, I mean, we'll see what happens.
Two.
Pun
Good, Josh,
intended?
what you did there.
Pun intended?
Well done.
You like
Take
that?
two.
Take two.
Well done.
Thank you, sir.
It's
Thank
better
you.
because you didn't
I thought I was
intend
going to
it.
go over everyone's head, but there you go. So we have Greg K in the chat, who's been a channel member for 4 months. So Greg, thank you so much for the support, brother. He says, I just want to say they should have kept their word and made everything exclusive, and they would have dominated. They didn't even try. Yeah, I mean, listen, Kay, Greg, listen, I was there 2 years ago. Like, I was, like everybody that's an OG fan, was in their feelings because Halo, Gears, and Forza was rumored. Well, now it's a reality. And if you're a purist, that sucks. Even though it may not be a constellation prize for you, where, you know, you're still getting all these games in your service, that's the saving grace for me. Like, if they were to take a game off of Xbox and put it on PlayStation only because they have 80 million consoles, that'd be a big problem. But they're not going to do that. So again, if we're here to talk about games, and you are a gamer and you like Xbox games, you like their Xbox first party games, you are eating good. In fact, you've been eating really good for the last couple of years. 23 was great. 24 was excellent. 25 is magnificent. 26 is going to be even better. We're getting the games, right? And we're getting hardware in the form of OEM and handhelds that we're all playing and enjoying. I've been really, like, all jokes aside, I've been really enjoying the Ally X. I've been using it every time I'm on the couch. It's not heavy. I'm playing a ton of games. I played Ninja Gaiden on it. I've played Towerborn. I mean, Keeper. I've played the Outer Worlds. In fact, out of the what was it? Near 80 hours that I played the Outer Worlds 2, I put about 12 of those on the handheld, and it was just glorious. It just worked really great. So
Great.
next year, there's rumors that we may get the OEM device. We may even see what it looks like at the end of the year at the Game Awards. That's another rumor floating around. Xbox gamers are winning. We are. If you're an Xbox gamer, you're winning. That's it. Yes, you can be upset about some of the things, the minutia things that they do, like the Game Pass increase and stuff like that. Be angry. Vote with your wallet. If it's bothersome, don't subscribe. There's PlayStation, there's Nintendo, there's Steam. And if you're a PC player, you should be playing on Steam anyway. I mean, the Game Pass is cheaper, so go there. But look, we have, let's see, is that it? We are, okay, so we're officially caught up. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you so much for hanging out with us. We had over 600 people watching live, which is a really big deal for a channel our size. Let's get everyone out of here. Start first with Kay Asante. Kay, sell the brand, brother. Obviously, on Saturday, you're going to have this conversation or a conversation similar to this, maybe with a bunch of guests, with you and Everborn. And I'm sorry we didn't get Everborn because, whenever there's Microsoft conversation or Satya Nadella stuff, he shows up. Unfortunately, he had a long day at work. So he'll be there on Saturday with you to get into the real finite. And we might even have some more additional information because obviously when these stories originally drop, there's, in between stuff. You don't
My
hear
headphones.
me?
Oh, there you go.
Okay.
I hear me. I hear it. I'm good. I'm
okay,
good.
there you go.
Continue.
So listen, sell the brand, brother. Where can people check out the Gaming Circle podcast, subscribe to continue to help your channel grow, and more importantly, follow you on the socials?
Thank you. Well, to follow and help us and all of that, I would ask you to follow myself, TKO ASANT on Twitter, on all the places we communicate. But I actually also ask you to join the Discord, discord.gg/TGCP. He wasn't able to join us, but we were, once the news did drop, he was in the Discord while we were doing some things, and we were having chats about that. This is what we do on a daily. Something drops, you can catch our unvarnished opinions on it relatively immediately when it drops, because we're always hanging out in the Discord. But of course, on the weekends, on Saturdays, myself and Everborn Saga host the Gaming Circle podcast, 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So come check us out there. We're growing. We're at 3K and climbing slowly, but we're getting there. So thank you guys to everybody who helped us get to that achievement. And yeah, we'll see you guys next week.
Well, thank you for being here, brother. Super appreciate it. Hargeet China, so the brand. Obviously, folks, if you didn't know, he wrote a sci-fi novel. I don't know how many authors you know, but I know one. His name is Hargeet China. He wrote a book that if you are a fan of Mass Effect, you are probably going to like it. It's called Emergence. He's going to tell you where you can buy it and support him. And I think you should. Sell the brand, brother. Where can people buy the book? More importantly, actually subscribe and listen to you on your own YouTube channel. Sell the brand.
Yeah, my channel is Huggy Chani1 on YouTube. My book, if you want to pick it up, shop.chani.us. I'll be on with C Money and Doodle on Friday. We'll talk about what's going on by then, 8 p.m. US Eastern Time on for Gamers. And then on with Web Dave, 7 p.m. US Eastern Time on Sunday. And with Fonz on Tuesday at 7 p.m. US Eastern Time. Check that out. We had Ray from Xbox Ready on yesterday.
Oh, nice, dude.
Check that out. And we gave away an Xbox ROG Ally X.
Oh, wow.
So
nice.
we had somebody from our community offered it up, and we gave it away.
That's
so
nice, dude.
Congrats to the person who got that.
That's awesome.
Yeah, check those out, and we'll see how Xbox is, of course, dead again.
I know it's crazy, man. It's funny. I did a thumbnail with Phil Spencer as the zombie. It's probably one of my best thumbnails ever. And I'm like, you see, this is what the world's turned into. It's gross. But listen, gentlemen, appreciate you being here. Chat, thank you so much for checking out the show. If you're not already subscribed and you're finding the channel for the first time, please consider subscribing, as Mrs. Boom and I are on the hunt for 17K now. We are quite a few hundreds away from 17K, but we'd like to get to the 16.3, and you can help us get there. We're only a few subs away from hitting that. And again, we're doing it the mom and pop way. We don't, use hate mongering conversation. We don't use clickbait titles or thumbnails of me grabbing my face like this and ripping off my shirt, pretending that I'm the Incredible Hulk, and you know what I'm talking about. But no, we don't do any of that here. We have thoughtful conversation. It's all well researched, and I really, really, really go out of my way to make sure that when we have this evidence-based conversation, that I double and triple check. And when I do get it wrong, and occasionally I will come back the next day and be like, hey folks, look, I got it wrong, because that's what you're supposed to do as a creator. You're supposed to take responsibility for what you put out there. And I hope that you are enjoying the work that Mrs. Boom and I are doing, even though she'll never be on camera because that's just not her bag, but she does a lot of behind the scenes stuff. And it does help me, continue to run the channel. But ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for us. A big thank you to all of the super chats, gifted subs, and channel memberships that come up behind the scenes. Mrs. Boom and I are greatly appreciative of that. And of course, I'm going to close out the show with something that's incredibly important to me, folks. Hopefully one day it'll be important to you. And that's something that my dad taught us when we were kids. And he would say, Craig, treat others how you want to be treated. And also, it doesn't cost anything to be nice. You live by those rules, son. I can guarantee you're going to have an awesome day. So take care, everyone. And we'll see you next week on the newest episode of Primetime Gaming with Mr. Boomstick and Friends.